Hi, my name is Matt Christensen. I am a partner here at Hansen St. Today I am discussing debtors exams, how those happen in state courts in the state of Idaho, and then exemptions that would apply to collection of those judgments. First, when I'm a creditor and I get a judgment against someone, I want to be able to collect that judgment. That's the whole point of suing the individual, so I can get my payment made. Once the judgment is entered, I can't just immediately go start taking people's assets and taking their things. There's a specific process that the courts and the Idaho legislature require. So I first have to get issued a writ. It's either a writ of execution or a writ of garnishment. Writ of execution is usually directed at like a bank account or something specific that I'm asking the sheriff to go collect on my behalf. Writ of garnishment would be something like what goes to an employer that says, hey, 25% of this person's paycheck should be paid to me rather than them. So I have to go to the court first and get one of those writs issued. Once a writ is returned by the sheriff and it is returned unsatisfied, meaning it didn't pay the entire amount of the judgment, then I can request the court order the person to show up for a debtor's exam. The debtor's exam will be set at a specific date and time. It's held at the courthouse. Usually the process is the judge will come in, start the process, get the person sworn under oath, and then most of the time the judge will go ahead and leave. They may leave a recorder on. Sometimes the parties will just go out in the hallway and talk on a bench or in a conference room. But the person is put under oath. They have to answer questions about what assets they have, where they bank, who owes them money, that sort of thing. That then gives the creditor a roadmap of what assets there may be to try and collect. So in that circumstance, the debtor, the person who owes the judgment, is entitled to certain exemptions. And the exemptions are going to apply whether you're in a state court collection proceeding or in a bankruptcy case as well. The way the bankruptcy court works and the bankruptcy code works for the state of Idaho, Idaho has adopted or has opted into a state schedule of exemptions rather than using the exemptions that are found in the bankruptcy code. And so the Idaho exemptions will apply both in Idaho State collection proceedings and in a bankruptcy case. So generally the exemptions work to protect certain assets that a borrower or a debtor may have. The legislature determines, what are the basic things that people are entitled to that a creditor can't come take. So there's some exemptions that will apply with no limit to the amount of the exemption. There's some exemptions that apply and protect up to a certain amount of things. So examples of unlimited exemptions: if a person is receiving Social Security income, the Social Security income is generally exempt from creditors. A retirement income, so whether it's from a retirement plan, like a pension plan that I'm receiving a pension payment for, or whether it's income that's coming out of a qualified retirement account, so like a 401k or an IRA, those accounts generally will be fully exempt with no limits. Life insurance proceeds is another thing that is 100% exempt with no limits. Child support payments, if I'm receiving a child support payment from someone, those can't be garnished. Medical savings accounts, if they've been set up and funded properly, those are exempt without a significant limit. Another one that's sort of unique to Idaho that is not necessarily an unlimited exemption, but food storage and the shelving and containers to store that food is exempt up to 12 months worth of food storage and the storage containers for that. So depending on the individual, depending on the family, that may effectively be a fairly unlimited exemption. Examples of the exemptions that are limited in dollar amounts would be like a homestead exemption. So a home or a piece of property that you own is exempt up to $175,000 in value. A vehicle that you own is exempt up to $10,000 in value. The things in your house, your household goods, are exempt up to a total amount of $7,500, with no one item being exempted over $1,000 in value. Each individual in Idaho is entitled to a gun exemption for a gun valued up to $1,500, and then Another common one is what we call tools of the trade. So if I'm a builder, for instance, and I have a bunch of building tools, power tools, hammers, that sort of thing, those tools would be something I use in my trade. Those are exemptable up to $10,000 in value. There's some other fairly limited exemptions that are limited in dollar amount that would apply in specific cases, but those are the basic ones. The key with those limited exemptions is the dollar amount is the cap. So if I have a home that's valued at $400,000, I have a $175,000 exemption. So there's $225,000 in equity in that home that would not be exempt. It does not mean my entire home is exempt, just the dollar amount of equity in the home. So those are some of the common exemptions that would apply to both collection proceedings and in a bankruptcy case. If you are a debtor being collected against, or if you're a creditor that has a judgment you want to collect, those are things that we can assist you with, and we urge you to give us a call.